I started the Mastermind Experience 3 years ago and it sells out every single time. Why are people paying me $10,000 to spend 5 days with a selected group of entrepreneurs? Every founder I'm talking to is intrigued by that and wants their own conference, their own masterclass, their own podcast, their own personal brand, or their own mastermind. Why is it so? Of course, a lot of us are ego-driven, a lot of us see opportunities here and there, and if you can make $1 on the side, why not? But to be very clear, there are a lot of shiny objects and the lady in the red dress is definitely around. Today, I want to show you how we're doing the mastermind and how you can do it yourself, how to prevent a mastermind of being a scam. I will talk about the not so obvious benefits you will get out of it, and of course, the money we make. Hosting an event is technically not that hard and it happens every single day all over the world. Whether it's a birthday party, a company event, a conference, or a mastermind. But masterminds are, in a way, sometimes special. You spend more than 80 hours with people you never seen in your life before, and we want them to talk about their vulnerability, about their fears, about what they want to achieve and how they're gonna get there. So let's create our own mastermind here. What do you need for that? First of all, you need an idea of why people should come to your mastermind, what they can learn from it, what are the benefits. For Mastermind Experience, it's we bring like-minded entrepreneurs and founders together to achieve their next level in business and personal life. So basically everybody who attends the mastermind wants to grow personally or in their business. Therefore, we have to select them very carefully. And here comes the first tipping point. On our website, we are setting the stage. So people can apply for the mastermind. You can't just buy the ticket, you have to apply for it. We want to know who wants to come, because I think if you have a group of 10 people and they're spending 5 days together, you have to be very careful of the characters. Are there toxic people? Are there negative people? Are there people that are complaining all the time? You don't want to spend 5 days with them. That's why we're doing the application form, and you have to fill out who you are, your Instagram profile, your LinkedIn, your business revenue, how many employees you have. And by that, we already get an idea of what kind of person you are. If you fill out the form, you will get the fact sheet of the mastermind right away. It's kind of like sales, but in a different way, because we don't want to sell to everyone, we want to sell to the right person. But to do that, we are setting the stage. So people give us their information about their business. They know the pricing right away when they see the fact sheet. And in the fact sheet, we have all the common questions gathered. What does the schedule look like? What did previous attendees say about the experience? Who will be the special guest? What will be the location? And all that is in the fact sheet. Next up, probably the most inefficient part comes in. And if you guys have an idea of how to make this more efficient, please let me know in the comments or just write me a DM. I would highly love it, but I still think this part is very crucial. We do a video call with every person who applies. And there's nothing more valuable in the world than my own time, but I still invest this to select the right group of people. In the phone interview, we are talking to the people and check, are these idiots or are they just fitting to our group? If I think it's the right person, my business partner Sarah is also talking to them and checks if they are fitting the group. Yay, you made the next step, you paid the $10,000 and you're part of the mastermind now. Next up, we need a schedule for the Mastermind Experience. And balancing that schedule between leisure, between business, between learning, that's a tough part. So we're doing it like 30-30-30. In the past, we had a lot of special guests. That is also a crucial part of hosting a mastermind. If you have a personal brand or you're a superstar yourself as an entrepreneur, as an artist, as an influencer or whatever, then you probably won't need a special guest, but I also want to learn myself something. So that's why we're inviting the best special guest we can get. In the past, we had entrepreneurs of 8-digit companies, founders of creative agencies, and I'm super proud of the next guest we will have in February 2025. He's the founder of Flixbus. They're making more than 2 billion revenue. They have more than 2,000 employees, the biggest public transportation brand in Germany, Daniel Kraus. But where are you hosting the mastermind? Will it be an Airbnb, a hotel, a private residence, or maybe an office? I think the location has to be that people are coming together. So obviously you need 10 to 15 single rooms. Not that many Airbnbs have that. That's a disadvantage. Hotels are sometimes so anonymous and it's tough to gather around a wood fire or a chimney or whatever. So there are pros and cons to all of that. That's why we're very carefully selecting our locations. We had some locations in Portugal, we had some in Palm Springs, we had some in Ibiza and also in Austria in winter for special edition. What we do is we're selecting a location where people definitely want to go. It's definitely a selling argument, but also we think of the infrastructure we need. So we definitely need one community room, one community area where people can chill, talk to each other and all that. We need a couple smaller rooms if we want to do 2-on-1 sessions, 1-on-1 sessions with some of the participants. And we need a lot of single bedrooms for our team and also for the participants. So if you keep this in mind, then nothing can go wrong. Before I'm telling you what we actually make on the Mastermind and the not so obvious benefits that are actually very beneficial, I want to talk to you about why we are doing this. My business partner Sarah Emmerich is one of the most well-known LinkedIn influencers in Germany. With more than 50,000 followers, she has a big personal brand. She's super young with 24. She has a lot of knowledge about business. She runs her own agency, her own conference, and of course we're doing the Mastermind together. But it wasn't always like that. When I first met her, I thought she was so arrogant and we couldn't get along. But maybe that was just the first impression. After one day of working together and another night of drinking a whole minibar together and talking a lot fun stuff together, we found out we have a lot of stuff in common and we are both Taurus, which makes us both strong personality. It's not that I give a shit about astrology, but somehow it adds up and it's my way or highway. So we found out we're both inspired by people who build something, by people with similar interests and similar values than us. And how often do you spend 5 days just working on yourself? Well, to think about where do I want to be in 3 years from now, in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now? And same applies for your business. Usually you're working in your business, you're in build mode all the time, you're hustling. But reflecting this and getting honest feedback of people who are in a similar position, that's the real value. What drives me personally is I want to understand the world. I want to know how this coffee mug is made, how a lantern is set up, how a company works, how a bank works, and how you actually achieve the next levels. I'm from a super small town in Germany, Aachen, shout out to all my people out there, but I've kind of felt stuck when I was 18. So I wanted to explore the whole world. And by spending time together with people you admire and people you will start loving is how I grow. I get a lot of energy out of that, and I think that's what we can give back to the world. If I could give an advice to my younger self, it would be invest more money in education. And I'm not talking about university or college or all of that. I got so much out of masterminds, and it doesn't matter which mastermind you're attending or you're hosting your own one or a conference, you will get the value out. Your 20s and 30s are for learning, it's sowing the seeds. Your 40s and 50s are for harvesting. The coaching world is stuck. There are masterclasses all over the place and there are a lot of people hosting events, masterclasses and all that who don't actually speak from experience. I think you have to build something yourself and then you can talk about it. It's not vice versa. So I really want to make sure our mastermind gives people the most output, the most learnings, and the most value they can ever get out of it. How I do that? I think of myself as a participant. What would I like to see? What would I love to learn? And for me, there's nothing better than spending 3 hours with one of the biggest founders in Germany, Daniel Kraus, sitting in a wood fire and talking about stories of his early days in the career, his biggest mistakes, or what he would give an advice to his younger self. After 8 masterminds, we have 80 alumni, 80 people who I spent 80 hours with to talk about business and personal life. I can ask them for advices and vice versa. They can also ask me if they have a challenge, if they want an input, if they want a connection, but it's also great for building business. I got so many good leads out of that, and some of them are my business partners right now. If I'm looking for an influencer marketing manager, I'm checking in with Jenny Song-Smith. If I'm looking for somebody who works on podcasts and helps us to elevate this, I'm checking in with Luis Budo. If I want to get tickets to the best festival, the biggest festival in Germany, I'm talking to our alumni Bernd Dix. He runs Perukaville Festival, the biggest festival in Germany. So we're all elevating our businesses with. Mastermind is like an invisible bond that will be there for lifetime. I really admire Alex Hormozi, but in one thing I don't agree with him. He says that the strategy, execute and improve. And if you do that, you will become a millionaire or a billionaire or whatever if you apply just his strategies. But one thing here is missing, and that's fun. In my life, I want to have fun, and this is definitely a very important ingredient. If you're calling it fun, passion, or money can't buy experience, it doesn't matter. For me, it's very important to have this in my mind and to have this all the time throughout the year. I want to work on stuff I really love and want to spend time with people I admire. And to be honest, how often can you rent a sick villa, do a helicopter ride, rent a yacht and get it through all as a business expense with the IRS? So what's actually our margin on the Mastermind Experience? You have $100,000 in revenue, and then you have to pay the location, which is usually between $15,000 and $30,000. You have to pay catering, food, beverages, maybe hire a private chef to take care of all the people, which is like $10,000, $15,000. It depends a little bit on the location in the world where you're doing it. If you're doing it in Portugal, it's a little bit cheaper. If you're doing it in the US and Palm Springs, it's way higher. Sarah and me are also using it to nurture our personal brands, to have content for LinkedIn, for Instagram, for the newsletter, for podcasts, and all of that. Another big part is always travel. Sarah lives in Germany, I live in the United States, so either of us has always to travel. And then you have to get the special guest. It will vary a little bit between $5,000 and maybe $20,000, but to get an A-list person, that's the amount you have to pay. Summing up all the costs, there's about $40,000 left. Divided by 2, that's $20,000 each. And it sounds in the first place as if it's a lot of money. But you have to keep in mind, you have to pay your own team, your event staff, maybe another personal content creator, an executive assistant, somebody who helps you preparing for the workshop, and you have to invest a lot of time. The calls in advance, the time on site 5 days. For me, always traveling internationally, it's like 2 to 3 days to adjusting. So for me, the reason I'm doing it, it's not about the money. We would make way more revenue with the whole thing if we would just do what my agency BDX Media is doing, creating great content for the biggest and best brand in the world, for all the love brands, all the brands that want to be love brands anytime soon. So a lot of people would say, kill this thing. It just distracts you. It's not the focus you should do, but I'm still doing it. I love it, it's a passion of mine. I'm having so much fun of spending time with my partner Sarah, with all these alumni, with all these people I love, and with our special guests. So for me, it's growing personally, growing in business, giving back my secrets, what I learned through 15 years of being an entrepreneur, and giving back to the community. You still there? In case you want to apply for Mastermind Experience, check out mastermindexperience.de, February 16th to 20th, 2025. That's the date. We will do it at Stangelwirt, the most legendary hotel in Austria, and we will have a good time. Check it out.